We know that single row functions help us to transform the data from every row of a table to the way that we want. Example is we know that upper, lower in case of a character, round, seal, floor in case of a number, those things. We also have another type of functions in Oracle which are called aggregate functions, which act on a group of rows. For a group of rows, it applies certain aggregation and gets me a single result. So, at the end of this video, you will be able to explain aggregate functions and list the features and uses of aggregate functions. What is aggregation? To aggregate means to collect or summarize or accumulate. Examples of aggregation is sum. I have, whether I have 10 rows or 100 rows or 1000 rows, sum will always give one value, right. Maximum, minimum, any of these things, if you say, they act on a set of rows, a set of data and return me one value. As you can see here from the books perspective, book type PR, among the PR maximum cost is 8500. How many PR type of books we have? 9. DB, what is the maximum cost? 7000. How many we have? Say exam 12. So, max cost count. So, this is a kind of an aggregation that I am doing. Irrespective of the number of rows, an aggregate function returns me one result or one value. They act on multiple rows and return a single value. Where can they appear in the select clause? They can appear in select, I can say column name and aggregate function, order by and having clauses. Commonly used with group by clause in a select statement. We also have what is called as a clause group by certain column name, it is commonly used with that. So, if I have a group by, aggregate function can be applied to each group. In the previous example that we saw, PR, I apply a group by on a book type, and for each book type it tells me what is the max cost, maybe what is the min cost and what is the count of book that I have. Another group of book type OS, what is the max cost, min cost, what is the count. Maybe you can also apply what is the average book cost of programming type of books, what is the average book cost of operating system books. So, this is what is a in which case I need to apply what is a group by. If there is no group by clause mentioned, Oracle applies the aggregate function in the select list to all the rows in the query table. If I just say select max book cost from books, it will give me the most expensive book among the books that I have. So, that is the features of aggregate or group functions. Some of the example, let us see: sum of numbers, average salary, maximum mark, minimum amount, count of employees in a department or maybe in a whole organization. All these things are general examples of aggregate or group functions. In Oracle, let us see some of the important and frequently used aggregate functions. The list is here, all these things are pretty explanatory: average, count, max, min, sum. These are some of the most commonly used aggregate functions in Oracle. Let us take a look at a couple of examples and how do I apply these aggregate functions on the table. Select ABG, average book cost from books. See, what happens is, for all the books that are there in the table, it selects all the books, cost of all the books, and average is set out. Thus, the sum of these divided by the number of books that is there, it gives me the output. Select count cust ID from book customer, the count of customers. The output of each of these select statement will be average will be one value, count will be one value. Couple of examples of usage of aggregate function. Let us see how a aggregate function works with the help of some kind of a illustration. We have a book sales information. So, given book ID, what is its type, what is the cost, and how much quantity of that book has been sold. If I apply count on book ID, it will give me 10, we have 10 rows here. If I apply count of PR type of books, we have 6. I can apply max and min both together. Max book cost, as you can see, it is 943 here, and minimum book cost is 343.85, and sum of quantity is 66 and average quantity is 6.6. So, this is an illustration how an aggregate function works on a set of rows. With that, we come to the end of this video. So, what are the key points that we discussed here? To aggregate means to collect or summarize or accumulate. Different aggregate functions, the most commonly used one in Oracle are AVG, average, count, max, min, sum, and these aggregate function process multiple rows and return a single value. That is important.